which brings me to the next part of my perimenopausal journey, and something you're really talking about and experienced yourself. And I'm so happy you're talking about it. So thank you. Is the mental health changes that we're seeing with women. I always, my audience knows if they listen to me, I'm almost 55. I'm postmenopausal, but somewhere in my mid 40s, it was like somebody took my brain, took it out of my skull, and then put another brain in there and said, okay, try to use this one. And I found myself irritable, easily agitated, yelling at my children. I've never yelled at my kids like that before. Everything was annoying me, including my own thoughts. And it shocked me. So can you talk, I know you had a very similar experience, but can you talk about what you've saw? I know you've had some other additional brain stressors, and what you're seeing with women, just so women can feel heard and seen and understand that they are not alone, and really give context to these mental changes that women are experiencing.
Absolutely. I think I want to start off with, any woman who's in the 4 to 10 plus year transition that is perimenopause, where we are in a profound brain reorganization, that you are definitely not alone.
Yeah.
That 8 out of the 10 symptoms of perimenopause are brain related. And most of those are mood related. I think a lot of people think that the number one symptom of perimenopause is stubborn weight gain. And yes, that's often why women
or hot flashes.
Yeah, or hot flashes, or poor sleep. But no, it is irritability. It is the way your partner is breathing and eating.
Yep.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I remember this one time, it was during the pandemic, that I literally was lying in bed and I swore I could hear my teenage son chewing in the kitchen downstairs. I came down and I was like, who's chewing so loud? And everybody looked at me like I was a freak. And I'm like, you have to stop. You have to close the doors. You're chewing way too loud. And then I went upstairs. I was like, who am I? What is going on here? So you're absolutely right. Irritability. Yet we don't talk about that enough.
No. And because it can feel like the daily pain points. So often women, it could be brushed off or brushed under the rug of like, oh, I don't have the level of resilience. I think one of the things that I have experienced, and other women I know in this transition, because I'm going to be 45 literally in a couple days, is things that were effortless. I didn't have to think about, like put a blindfold over my eyes, put my hands behind my back. Like I could do it all day, any day. And then all of a sudden that requires effort. Like the level of multitasking that I was able to effortlessly do requires more consideration and thought, more planning. And there's something about, you're like, oh my gosh, like again, took out the productive, efficient, mega mom brain, and then replaced it with this perimenopause brain. And you're like, whoa. Like my obligations are still require this level of capacity, but now my brain is operating at this lower level of capacity. And that can be very disalarming because we are.
Help us understand that. Like why is that? Because I feel like if you understand something and you make sense of it, then it feels a little bit calmer, at least to my brain. I'm always trying to make sense of everything.
So I know you had Dr. Mosconi on the show not too long ago, and I'm sure she talked about that women undergo 3 major brain reorganizations. The first one is puberty, right? And I mean, what a wild ride puberty was for all of us, especially our parents. Right. And that is like a good 8-year transition where we come online into our reproductive years around 20 years old. Right. The brain is still vastly developing, but we prune back. Gray matter shifts. We prune back. I think it's like 40+% of our neurons. It's a huge amount. Like, so you're trying to navigate life and maybe boyfriends and classes, and your brain is literally being rebuilt. And so no wonder perimenopause can feel so challenging. The next one is pregnancy and postpartum. And any mom listening, that once you become a mom, there's no going back. You will never be.
You never know where your keys are again.
That and like our protector energy, our knowing where our children are at all times. You could pick out your baby out of a lineup of 50 babies. I mean, it's impressive. The amount, you're just all systems focused on protecting that child. But constantly, I did a major check-in with my nanny and Alex. Like, you should see the little checklist I'm running off for my little 3-year-old. So postpartum. And then again, hormones are kind of menopausal range in postpartum as well. So major brain reorganization, hormones tanking. No wonder we see so much depression and anxiety and overwhelm put in sleep or lack thereof. And here we go. Then the third one is perimenopause. That is, and I think, in a lot of ways, it's a higher stakes transformation because I feel like there's more. Having a baby is pretty high stakes too. Keeping that baby alive is pretty important. But perimenopause, you mostly have family, you've got partners, you've got parents. I have a sick sister who, I'm always getting involved in. She had a stroke last year and she had a major spine surgery this year. And so I'm always involved in her. So I always say, often it's sick parents. It's a sick sister. And so there's just a lot more life circumstances that are happening. And we know that our gray matter declines. We trim back those neurons again, even white matter. But then with estradiol and progesterone dropping, progesterone is a powerful anti-inflammatory as allopregnenolone. And then estradiol has receptor sites to dopamine, serotonin, talking about motivating hormones. Progesterone stimulates GABA. You want to stop that irritation? You need more of that. You want to get some sleep? And so these hormones start to shift. And now what our dear friend, Dr. Carrie Jones calls it, unconscious uncoupling, but particularly in the receptor sites of your brain. And so your brain at times can be in a bit of an inflammatory state due to an uncoupling of these receptor sites at inconsistent times. So that's what's happening in the brain. We also see a decline in glucose metabolism.
Yeah.